Okay, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and get started with deploying the infrastructure for the tutorial. If you're following along with the Git repository, navigate down to the Getting Started section of the README. And let's first discuss the prerequisites. So starting with the Openshift cluster, I'm going to step through the command to spin up a ROSA cluster, but formally you can use any flavor of Openshift that you have if you happen to already have an Openshift cluster you want to use. But formally speaking, the demo has been tested on version of OpenShift 4.11 and 4.12 at this point, so that is just one fact. The next prerequisite is Ansible Core version 213 and greater. So there is a playbook that we're going to use to configure ROSA and Kong Konnect once those two components are in place. And so that playbook has been tested on version 213. And then for Kong Konnect, you will need a Kong Konnect Plus account. The reason being is twofold. For the actual promotion or CI/CD pipeline process, we're going to have two runtime groups that behave as two environments. And we're also going to leverage several enterprise-grade plugins. And so because of that, you do need a Plus account. Once you have a Kong Konnect account, also you do need to create a personal access token within Konnect as well to be used in the playbook. So once you have that, create that token, have it handy for the playbook step. Insomnia is the next prerequisite. So go ahead and navigate to this link and download the desktop application because we will be using Insomnia to design or update an API spec. The OpenShift CLI, so you do need to have the CLI available. There's several ways to get it. You can either navigate to the OpenShift documentation, or if you happen to already have a cluster available, you can navigate to the console and get it. And then the Helm 3 CLI, we do need this for the Ansible Playbook because the Ansible collection under the hood is going to use Helm, the Helm binary to install the Konnect data plane. So that's it for prerequisites. So if you need to take a moment, go ahead and pause the video now and go get that done. Okay, welcome back. I'm assuming you've got your prerequisites in place. So if you have not already, go ahead and download this Git repository. So go ahead and clone it. And then we're going to go ahead and step through deploying a ROSA cluster really quickly. So I put the command I use to spin up a ROSA cluster primarily because I try to keep them for these demos as small as possible. So I've got a compute machine type of T3 X large. That's all, and that's, to be perfectly honest, that's all we really need for the purpose of the demo. And then, I just kept it simple, so I disabled multiple availability zones. So if you want, go ahead and copy this command. I'm actually just going to go to my terminal and spin up from history a cluster. Let me list clusters real quick to make sure I don't have any. No clusters, okay. There's a free cluster, and then I'm actually going to change region to US West 1. Run that. It's taking a very long time for this command to finish. There we go, perfect. So this is going to take about 45 minutes or maybe 30 minutes to complete. So I will pause the video here and come back when it's done. But before we go, if you do want to, it is convenient to watch the logs to know when your cluster is completed. So go ahead and copy out that command at the bottom. To watch your cluster installation logs, run ROSA. So I'm just going to copy this to the CLI. Yep. And so I will see you when this is done. Okay, welcome back. So I've got an OpenShift cluster. So the next step is to go ahead and create an admin user. I'm just going to create a ROSA cluster admin user really quick. This is also documented in the repo, but I'm just going to go ahead and run the command. So I'm just going to do ROSA create admin and specify the cluster that admin needs to be created on. And it said it'll take up a minute. It really will take up to a minute. So we'll just have to try this periodically. Because this takes so long, I will be back in a few minutes with the login working. Okay, so now I'm able to successfully log into the cluster with that cluster admin user that I created. So we're ready to move on to the Ansible step and go ahead and run this playbook. So the first thing we need to do is to install the collections that the playbook requires. So if you go ahead and copy this command and navigate to the home directory of the Git repository and go ahead and execute, it should download any collections that you're missing. When that is in place, we're now ready to run the playbook. So right here, the step is ROSA and Konnect configuration. So the playbook is going to do a few things. We're going to install the cert manager operator because we do need some certificates for our Konnect data planes. We're going to install the Openshift pipelines operator because that's the CI/CD tooling of choice. We're going to use Git, which is to be our self-hosted Git repository. This is really just more out of convenience so that there's no external dependencies on GitHub. People don't need their own personal accounts. For Konnect, what we're going to do is we're going to create and configure 2 runtime groups. So we have a default runtime group already, but if not, it will create it for you. And then we'll create a second runtime group called dev. And then to each of these gateways, or to runtime groups, we'll sync up 1 gateway per runtime group. And then we're going to just do some typical OpenShift day 2 operations. So we need to create the APIOps namespaces, install the Tekton pipelines, and also dynamically create the pipeline runs, or not the pipeline runs. Yeah, the pipeline runs that we're going to execute. Apologize. Yeah. And then last is we're just going to focus on the APIOps aspect of this demo. So we're already going to have the disputes sample application, the disputes dev running in OpenShift as well. And you can see the only command that the playbook requires is your Konnect personal access token. So go ahead and copy this command and go back to your terminal. And we can go ahead and execute this. I am just going to pull this out of history. Here we go. And begin the execution. So this will take a few minutes just because there's a number of activities going on. So I will see you when this playbook finishes. Okay, so the playbook is now finished, and you're just going to see a few facts just to let you know what it looks like when it's done. Is you should see a print of the demo facts task, which is just information that we're going to use throughout the tutorial. And the second is just a message saying that the playbook is finished running. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll actually get started on the APISecOps tutorials themselves. So with that, thanks for joining.